extra special, and you wonder why your garden doesn't look like that. Well, maybe it's because you aren't listening to Carson Arthur, who's back in studio with us right now. So, listen, there are rules that you all follow that are not necessarily obvious to us, and that's what we're going to go through right now. First of all, it is so good to have you back in studio.
It feels so weird to be here with living people. It's
I
awesome.
can touch you.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm back. I'm back.
So
all
nice.
Right. So lots of people this time of year heading to the garden centers, buying lots of plants, myself included. I'm stocked up. But there's a few simple rules to making those plants look good in your space.
Okay.
Don't buy one, buy three. Don't buy three, buy five.
Okay.
Always stick in odd numbers. So whenever you're adding to it, go in odd numbers because they look better. I'm going to show you why.
Just like design. We say do it all the time in design and decor. It's the same with your gardens.
Absolutely. I'm not hurting the grasses for everybody stressed. So when we're planting, if you plant three together, they look good. This is how nature does it. It's never in pairs. You're always going to see it in multiples of three or odd numbers in nature. But what happens is as the plants grow, they fill in and they make one big mass, which is also an odd number. That's a good thing. If you plant in a straight line like I've done here, that's very modern design. That's very clean line, very modern, very, I don't want to say staged, but it's decided, it's planned.
It's contemporary. It's like, it's neat, it's organized, it's tidy.
All of that, exactly. If you want a more natural look, instead of planting in a straight line, you move one forward and you create a triangle. Now the triangle gives it more flow, more movement. What's also good about the triangle, it takes up more space in your yard, so you need less plants. Because now you're actually taking a bigger square footprint than if you went in that straight line.
Love that.
Okay? The one thing to remember, though, is if you're going to add five and you're still trying to do the triangle, then you would put three plants behind. Okay? So that's the first rule of three. Always plant in threes.
Okay, and it also gives it some nice depth as well. There's just something very visually pleasing about it. What's your second rule?
Second rule is if, let's say, you have a smaller space. Let's say you're downtown, you got a small front yard, or you don't want a huge garden. Three seems a lot intimidating. We're going to take three out. We're going to work with one grass, and now we're going to add two other plants. And I like to choose plants that maybe have slightly different leaf structure.
So you're not dragging them all by the hair, huh?
Well, is
that why? Like,
I love that you picked up on that. The abuse that Carson's doing on his plants. So now we've got three plants together, three different textures, but they are still a grouping of three. So we've got a hosta, a grass, a cedar. We still have the same triangle. We still have the same shape. But because we've created this together, they look like they work together. They are in combination, but they are in cohesion as well.
They really are.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does it take for you to do that? Is it just your gardening eyeball? Like, is that
years of experience?
Yeah, like
there's
it
gray
works.
hair came naturally. Absolutely. The other thing to remember, though, is if you're going to do this, playing with heights is really good.
Okay.
Now, you notice there's the lower ones in the front because you don't want to put it behind the taller bush. So understanding how big these plants are going to grow when you're designing is really important. So low, medium, high.
Beautiful. And you've got another rule, which is about height.
Yes, this is the most important one and the one everybody's been waiting for. We're going to talk about hiding your neighbors. Okay, so let's talk about that. Privacy, absolutely. Now, a lot of people will plant cedars for privacy. I don't like using cedars because they're skinniest at the top, and it's usually high where you need the privacy. So I love going with trees like these. Now, these are pyramidal oaks, gorgeous trees. They stay narrow, and they go nice and tall. I'm going to shift this around a little bit so you can kind of see. Let's say your neighbor is right behind me, and you want to hide them. So a straight line of oaks, after I just said never plant in straight lines, now we have a straight line. To break that up, but still playing with the rules of three, we have three. We're now going to add two cedars to create five. And the cedars will fill in, and they fill in the negative space in between the oak trees. As the oak trees grow, these will also grow. Now we have layer, we have dimension. We're still working in odd numbers. It makes sense. Let's say you want to add another little layer. Let's put three grasses in front now. We can now create the grasses in the front. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to put that there, Tracy.
I said grabbed by the hair.
But now we've created the layers. We've got staging. We've not kept it consistent. We've added the detail and the texture. And we've got instant privacy.
Yeah, you have like a fort now. No one is getting in there at all.
Perfect.
You're never going to see them. I feel like those are the ones you planted in my backyard.
Very similar. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're so tall now and beautiful. They're growing at different rates. And they haven't taken over the space. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Because I do not want to see the neighbors. We're trying so hard, right?
Exactly.
To have a little bit of privacy. Carson, thank you so much for that.